part 3, I showed how the chickens learned to peck fridge magnet letters and pick the A out of the alphabet. In this video, I'd like to see if they can switch from pecking the three-dimensional fridge magnet letters to pecking two-dimensional letters printed on paper. I'm going to be printing the letters in black ink, so I'm going to make the switch in 2 steps. First, I'm going to switch to three-dimensional black fridge magnet letters, and if they can do that, I'll switch to flat black paper letters on paper. The letters are all roughly the same size, the orange, the black, and the printed letters, about 1.25 inches in size. Before I could switch to the black fridge magnet letters and the black paper letters, I had to make sure they were still accurate at picking the A from the fridge magnet letters. So I did a little trial with the A and the X together, and I gave each chicken 6 tries, and between all 6 chickens, they got it right 93% of the time. So I was pretty confident that they were doing that properly. Then what I did was repeated the same thing, but I used the black fridge magnet letters instead. They didn't do too badly on that, better than I thought they would actually, and they got that right 83% of the time. So now I was pretty confident that they could see the black three-dimensional letters, and now it was time to see if they could see the letters in 2 dimensions. They did a lot better than I thought they would. Between the 6 chickens, they did around 85% of the time they picked the A correctly. Between all of them, there was 27 attempts, and they got it right 23 times. So those percentages were from the chicken's very first attempt at the switchover. The reason I only used the first attempt for the numbers is that chickens learn very, very quickly. And what I've noticed is sometimes that you will show them something once, and occasionally they will remember it the next try. So they can sometimes learn after 1 try. So what I wanted to see with these percentages that I was getting is, could they figure it out on their own? Could they figure out on their own that the black A is the same as the orange A? Could they figure it out on their own that the paper A is the same as the fridge magnet A? And instead of simply memorizing something new. And those numbers tell me that yes, they could figure it out. Instead of having to memorize something new, they could figure out that the change was actually still the same object. So I was now pretty confident they could see the paper letters fine, and I thought this would be a great chance to make a few changes to the letters and see if they can still tell the A from the other letters. And to do this, I picked the letter that to me looks the closest like the A, which is the V. And what I did was put the A right way up and turn the V upside down, so they look almost identical. And I wanted to see if the chickens could still tell them apart. Just watching how they did the trial, it looked like they were not having much problem figuring it out, and they got it right about 73% of the time, so 19 tries total for the 6 chickens, and they got it right 14 times. And the next thing I wanted to do was make it what I thought would be a little harder, which would be to turn the A upside down and turn the V upside down. So now in a way the A looks less like the A and the V looks more like the A. And I wanted to see if the chickens would be tricked by that, or if they could mentally turn the letter A upside down in their mind and still recognize it. So they didn't seem to do too badly at that. They looked like they weren't too confused. And for that one, they got 12 out of 17 right, so 70% of the time they got it right. So I think for the most part, they could tell the difference. The next thing I did was printed out some letters that had parts missing. So I just kind of erased the strip out of the middle of the letter so that it looked less like the letter, and I was trying to see if the chickens in their mind could kind of fill in that missing part. So some of them seemed to figure it out and some of them didn't. They got it right about 60% of the time, so maybe they had some inkling, but I can't really say it's definitive. I was less convinced for sure that they could do that one. And the last trial I did with the printed letters was to take a larger chunk out of the letters so that there was very little left indicating which ones they were. And in this one I noticed a definite difference in how the chickens acted. Instead of just walking up and pecking at one of them, they kind of looked a little bit confused, and some of them took to just walking up and pecking both letters at the same time, as if they're saying, I don't know which one it is, so I'm just going to peck one of them, and I hope one of them's the right one. So I don't even think they got 50% right on that one. So I'm pretty convinced on this last trial that they could not tell which one the A was anymore. I did quite a few attempts with the printed letters, and although the chickens never got quite as accurate with the printed letters as they did with the orange fridge magnet letters, I'm still very convinced that they can see them just fine and tell them apart.